Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dreadbread. Welcome to the Space Monkey Mafia. Pants for the enemy. In true Imperial Guard lore, the Imperial Guards got crumped by an orc invasion. My stream died for unknown reasons when I got partway through this list, so I'm going to be redoing it. I looked over and realized my stream was dead. It wasn't recording, but it did get some of this stuff, so that's good. I'm just going to do a quick recap of the ones that I already went over. I'm sorry if you're just joining in. I don't know what was going on. I'm getting some slow frames. I don't know what caused the stream to crash, to go kaput. I blame it on the orcs. The greenskins came and, they did their thing. And the Imperial regiments, they fought well and hard, but they just weren't a match with for the greenskins. They had to call in some help. Alrighty, let's go back into it. Oop, that's the wrong one. So we did number 1, which was the 83rd Death Corps Infantry Regiment. At number 2 was the Armageddon 16th Steel Legion. At number 8 is the Lord Castellan's Own. At number 4 is the 31st Harkin Oni Regiment, the Hell Divers. At number 5, we have Gaunt's Ghosts, also known as 10th and 1st only. At number 6, we have the Kajistan 18th Jungle Fighters, which oddly enough does not have any bit of lore. I guess who they are is self-explanatory, but if you're completely new to the Warhammer 40k, think Predator, but in a jungle where everything wants to eat and kill you, and these guys are fighting to survive. They're fighting really tough enemies, and they're also fighting the environment around them. Anything from butterflies that spread poisonous spores that will melt and burn away your skin, to creepy crawly bugs that will burrow into your flesh, to flowers that will try to eat you. Then at number 7, we had the 412th not Canadian, God, I can never say their name. They're from Canadian, there we go, Canadian, not Canada. But if you want to go with it, yeah, the 412th Canadian Regiment from Acadia. Alrighty, and then at number 8, we had the 12th Valhallian Regiment. I'm probably not saying that right. The Cold Blood. These guys had a tough time, but they did their thing. And at number 9 was the 9th, which is kind of weird, number 9 and number 9. I just realized that. Vostorian Firstborn Regiment. And this is where the stream cut out last time. At number 10, with 224 votes, is the 3rd Meridian Regiment. The 3rd Meridian is the most decorated regiment in their homeworld's proud history of service to the Imperium, with one of their most notable campaigns occurring during the defense of the Hive Barbossa against the Warg Dregut, when the 3rd Mordarian faced a horde of barbaric orcs at the Battle of Marble Garden. Do you agree? There you go. See what's number 1 with this horror games that are better than the original. No, thank you. Oh, alrighty. Now the images aren't loading. Alright, give me one momento to fix this. I don't know why the images aren't loading. Maybe that's why the stream cut out. But let's see here. Give me one moment to refresh the page. Clickety, 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 click. Did all the things pop up? Yes, all the things popped up. Now I need to switch this back to the other screen. Beans? Cool beans? See the rank number 1 is Mario. Mario's the best Imperial Guard regiment. No, at number 11 we have the 1st Elysian Drop Troops Regiment. These guys have all the best gear and weapon. The Elysian Regiment is part of the Ultima Segmentum's strategy reserved the Imperial Guard regiments waiting for rapid deployment against any emerging threat to the Imperium. The vaulted 1st Elysian Regiment has a long and glorious tradition, having fought in the Emperor's cause across the galaxy, including have fought against the heretic rebellions around the Eye of Terra, the Orcs of Rog, and the Uruk and Eldar pirates in the Barbarous sector. Do you agree? These guys usually have like better plasma weapons and las rifles and things than most Imperial Guards. They also have jetpacks and things like that. At number 12, we have the 12th Mordarian Armored Regiment. The 12th Mordarian Armored Regiment are a fine example of customary discipline and rigorous drills of the Mordarian Iron Guard. They are a regiment comprised of 15 companies, each consisting of 13 Leman Russ's battle tanks, with the command tank in each company a rare variant of the mighty vehicle such as the Leman Russ Vanquisher or the Leman Russ Executioner. The Leman Russ is not to be confused with the Primarch, that's just what they called the tanks. The tanks were named after the Primarch. The crews of the 12th are trained to exact standard and understand their roles, duties, as well as to require the only most curious supervision by their tank's commanders. This, at least, is the theory. The 12th are untired and untested except in mock battles of their training, fought through the carnivorous holds of the troops' transports, deliverance during the regiment's transit to Callias sector, recently moved from the reserves and mustered on CAF to the internal dark battlegrounds of Nox on the Spindle Ward front. The 12th have yet, I need to stop saying the 12th have yet to face more than a brief skirmish against the enemies wise enough to withdraw in the face of the brutal might of the Imperial Armored Regiment, while each of its veterans of consistent conflicts on their home worlds, their skills are a vehicle crew are fresh from training and have not yet been tempered by the realities of battle. Huh. That is very interesting. So they're tanks, but they're not really well. They're not really well battle tested. Very interesting. And again, I do apologize for me stumbling reading over these. Like I said, I have a very hard time reading stuff on a white background. I have old man eyes, and the white tends to make my eyes blurry. At number 13, at 252 votes, we have the Talran Desert Raiders, 3rd Regiment, the Desert Tigers. Fought throughout the Macarian Crusade, 392 to 399 M41, alongside the 4th and 5th Talaran Regiments. Subsequently, it was all but destroyed, fighting under the command of the Imperial War Master Salon. That's not Salon. Salon? On the planet of Caliston, the regiment took part in a hard but successful war against mutant human rebels, receiving a commendation from the Inquisition. Alrighty. At number 14th, we have the... Oh, these guys have a little bit of lore, but the other guys didn't. The Kachachan Jungle Fighters 22nd Airborne Assault Group. Very nice. Very nice art right there. Led by Colonel Pensky, combined with the 1,139th Orbital Attack Group, known for their extensive use of Valkyries. Alright. Valkyries are a dropship type atmospheric fighter. Alright, let me just get a drink of water real quick. At number 5, we have the 5th Praetorian Guard. In 999 M41, the Praetorian 5th fought in the valiant defense of Cadia and its surrounding star systems during the 13th Black Crusade from the forces of Chaos commanded by Abaddon the Despoiler. Alright, not very much lore there. I know a lot of people will kit bash these guys from other historic games and put them in their regiments, their Imperial Guard units. And at number 16, the last of the Imperial Guard list, we have the Terex Guard. The Terex Guard are an elite regiment of Imperial Guards raised in the world of Terex, the site of a major scholar progenium facility, Scala Ex. Why can't you use regular English? Whatever big fancy words. Train many Imperial agents to war, most notably the elite stormtroopers and commissar. Their methods are rigorous and effective. The Tithe Regiment raised on Terex have been trained under the auspices of whatever that, however you say that, and are truly molded into its image almost as an entire regiment of commissars. Oh no! So do these guys still kill each other to raise morale? Like, how does it end? Is it just like a domino effect? All right, so that was very interesting to read. Up next, we know that this is a lie. The Ultramarines are not number one. It's actually somebody else. But there you go. One more time, we have the Terex Guard. These guys, I'm not going to read all their names. There we go. My voice is starting to give out a little bit. Alright, so we have done the best Orc clans. We have done the best Imperial regiment. And last but not least is the greatest race. Who are the greatest race of Warhammer 40k? At number one, I don't know if you can really call Space Marines a race since they're just augmented humans. But sure. We have the Space Marines, the Astartes. The Space Marines, or Adeptus Astartes, are the foremost amongst the defenders of humanity, the greatest of the Emperor of Mankind's warrior. They are barely human at all, but superhuman, having been made superior in respect to normal men by harsh regime of genetic modifications, psycho conditioning, and rigorous training. Space Marines are untouchable by plague of or any natural disease can cause suffering wounds. Basically, whatever kills a mortal man won't kill a Space Marine. Whatever kills a mortal man from disease-wise won't kill a Space Marine, but Space Marines can get killed by diseases, especially if it is demonic, or something like Nurgle related. Clad in ancient power armor and wielding the most potent weapons known to man, the Space Marines are terrifying foes, and their devotion to the Emperor and the Imperial men is unyielding. The God Emperor's angels of death, and they know no fear. Alrighty. At 2, we have the Orcs. The Orcs, also known as the Greenskins, are savage, warlike, green-skinned faced of humanoids who spread all across the Milky Way galaxy. They're giant fungus murder people. They share many features with the Warhammer Fantasy Orcs and were initially called Space Orcs to distinguish them. They are seen by the enemies, pretty much everyone else in the galaxy, as savages, warlike, crude, but they are most successful species in the whole galaxy. Yes, they can basically turn any pile of garbage into towering giant mechanical beasts and monsters, or turn it into rockets and spaceships and crazy Willy Wonka style weapons, outnumbering possibly even every other intelligent race, even mankind, with the very possible exception of the Tyranids, who are split between thousands of subspecies genetically engineered for specific purposes. However, this massive population of orcs is split into hundreds of tiny empires, often warring between themselves. It is speculated that the orcs were to ever unite in a single raid, they would undoubtedly crush any opposition they would dare to stand against them. Such a tsunami of green muscle. Luckily, the orcs enjoy killing each other every bit as much as they savor shedding blood of the galaxy's other peoples. So orcs, like I said, they are green fungus people. You kill them, and if they invade your world and you wipe them all out, they will pop up anyway as feral orcs on your planet. But once they get their hand on technology, that's when things can go very, very bad. They basically shed spores everywhere. At number 3, we have the Imperial Guard. They're just regular humans. I will read their little lore bit here. The Imperial Guards is the largest military force of the Imperium of Man, and also serves as the Imperium's first defense from the myriad threats which threaten the existence of human race in the late 31st millennium. It is comprised of countless billions of men and women, hundreds of thousands of different regiments, supported by a vast array of light and heavy armored vehicles that provide the Guard's primary punch. They are usually the first Imperial force to respond to a threat if the Planetary Defense Force (PDF) fails to suppress it. They also garrison major locations of strategic or cultural interests to the Imperium and are often found in the defense roles. The Imperium Guard is often referred to as the sledgehammer of the Emperor. That I did not know, the sledgehammer thing. Do you agree at number 3? At number 4, we have the Necrons. The Necrons are a mysterious race of robotic skeleton warriors that have lied dormant in their stasis tombs for more than 6 million Terran years, and who are soulless creations of the former servants of the ancient Satan, the terrible star gods of the Eldar myth. The Necrons are ancient beyond reckoning, predating even the birth of the Eldar. At long last, however, they are beginning to awaken from their tomb worlds, from the galaxies ripe from the greatest harvest, since its beings is to be since its sentinel beings to feed the external hunger of the Satan, since the disappearance of the old ones 65 million standard years ago. The Necrons are completely cybernetic humanoid species whose technology powers is probably unmatched by any other intelligent race of the galaxy. So basically, in short, think of these guys as Terminators from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with a fetish for Egyptian Egyptian culture, ancient Egyptian culture. Pretty much, they've got pyramids of doom. They have weapons that disintegrate you. When they die, they just get reassembled and put back together. They're a very interesting race. I don't like what they did with them recently. Basically, they freed them from the Satan, and now I guess they can talk. And to me, they shouldn't talk. They should just be alien and mysterious and murderate people. At number 5, we have the Tyranids. The Tyranids I would put above pretty much everything else, just because their forces are just so fast. The Tyranids are a species of terrible Xenos that is actually a space-faring ecosystem dedicated solely to its own propagation and evolutionary advancement. The Tyranids collectively from a monstrous superorganism that travels the universe in the great hives of the biomechanical hive ships, systemically consuming all other biomatter to enable its own rapid evolution and reproduction. All Tyranid organisms are synaptic, psychically reactive, and each Tyranid creature within the hive fleet shares in a communal hive mind, granting the ability for trillions of beings to communicate and organize instantaneously on a staggering scale. Like I said, these guys are pretty scary in their own right. They're pretty powerful. They're hard to kill. They reproduce quickly. A newborn Tyranid, basically, if it's been bred specially, can rip through dozens of Space Marines that have had how many decades of training and actual combat experience in a blink of an eye. At number 6, we have the Chaos Space Marines. I would actually put the Chaos Space Marines and Space Marines side to side. They would both be by each other or tied for the same spot. But the Chaos Space Marines have a little bit more advantage than the Loyalists do, because a lot of the Loyalists chapters are kind of been forced to fight in the same old style over and over again, but each with like their own chapter flair or flavor, whilst the Chaos Space Marines have truly been able to adapt and fight as they see fit. But they are at a disadvantage because most of the Legionnaire chapters are divided, or divided into smaller numbers in them. But they're still pretty strong and powerful. The Chaos Space Marine is also known as a Traitor Marine or a Renegade Marine, is a former loyalist Marine of the Imperium of Man who has chosen to betray the service of the Empire of Mankind and dedicated his soul to the service of Chaos and its foul deities. Such corrupt Astartes normally belong to one of the 9 traitor legions that betrayed the Emperor during the ancient civil war called the Horse Heresy more than 10,000 standard years ago, while others come from Space Marine chapters created long after the heresy ended that have turned renegade. Chaos can corrupt Astartes of any time and place, just as a siren calls may lead lesser men to damnation. Or sometimes Space Marine chapters get really unlucky, and they, in order to survive, they have to succumb to chaos. At number 7, we have the Tau. These guys are really good at melee. Not really. The Tau are a young, humanoid, and highly technologically advanced, intelligent race native to the eastern fringes of the Milky Way galaxy, who are fighting to expand their interstellar empire in a philosophical concept that they call the greater good. If you like mecha, if you like Gundam, if you like samurai stuff, these are the guys for you. They're not very good in melee. They may fix that at a later date, but they have a lot of pretty much Gundam-esque. I need to stop saying Gundam-esque weaponry, mobile suits, and mechs. The Tau claim to be a peaceful race, while possibly asking if others would join their cause voluntarily instead of fighting. However, if their peaceful overturns are refused, the Tau may decide to conquer a planet and add it to their growing interstellar planet empire for the greater good. Basically, they kind of use the same tactics as the Mongolians did, where they say they're here to be your friends back in the day, and if you join them, everything will be good. And if they will kind of say that, like, your country that you're from is actually ruled by evil people, and they are the heroes here to save you from those evil people, and they're here to liberate you. But unlike the Mongolians, they use psychic power in deceptive ways instead of fear tactics and just brutal methods. They're a little bit more cunning. At number 8, we have the Eldar. The Eldar are a race of fey-like humanoids similar in appearance to the culture of the Sylvanian elves of ancient Terra mythology and literature, and they are the most ancient, technological advanced of all the intelligent races of the Milky Way galaxy, with the exception of the old ones and their ancient enemies, the Necrons. Their armies usually have the advantage of great mobility, potent psychic abilities, and technology that is more advanced than the developed by the humans in the Imperium. Unfortunately, they're a dying race. A very much dying race. Their numbers are not that great anymore. And at number 9, we have Chaos Demons. A demon, also known as an Everborn amongst the forces of chaos, is intellectually and usually malevolent entity of the warp that is a living embodiment of chaos. Demons are collectively the greatest servants of the chaos gods, and the chaos itself is a universal force. They are created at the whim of one of the 4 major chaos gods, unless all chaos gods come together and decide to make one. They've done that a couple of times, from a faction of the god's own power within the Immaterium, and act as an extension of its own will. At number 10, we have the Squats. I like the old school Squats. I do not like the Votan. I'm sorry, they don't have the same appeal to me as the old school Squats. I never was, like I said, I did not get into Warhammer 40k until about 7th edition. So some people might go, how do you not like, you're a liar. You weren't even around when the Squats were around. I like looking at old models. I like the feel of the old models and things like that. And I kind of like how humorous the old Squats were with their crazy little cycle bikes and Easter egg dreadnoughts and things like that. Something about the new Squats just feels off to me. I just don't like them. The Squats were short, stocky, and physically hardy abnormal humans who were adapted to the heavy gravity conditions that predominated the worlds as they had settled near the core of the Milky Way galaxy. Of all the abhuman types encountered by the Imperium, they were closely resembled to baseline humans. Squats were the descendants of baseline humans who had colonized worlds around the galactic core in the far distant past. Basically, they got killed off by Tyranids. And now we have at number 11 the Dark Eldar. The Dark Eldar, or the Eldar Yinit? They're called the Drukari now, or Drukari. In the Eldar lexicon are the forsaken and corrupted kindred of the Eldar. Basically, these guys value traditional Eldar values, and you don't want to be captured by them. The Eldar are an ancient, highly advanced alien race of humanoids. Their armies, like the Eldar counterparts, usually have the advantage of mobility and advanced technology. The Dark Eldar revel in piracy, enslavement, and torture, and are extremely sadistic. Yes, to the extreme. Dark Eldar armies make up use of various anti-gravity skimmers, such as raiders, ravengers, to launch high-speed attacks. They also like to use poisonous weapons and all sorts of other things to mess you up, and they live in the webway. At number 12, we have the Ogryn. Oh, these poor guys. The Ogryn are huge and physically powerful abhuman mutant species of humans. They're really big, really strong, but really dumb. If one can tie its shoe or count up to like 2 or 3, or kind of can follow orders, they'll make him in charge of all the other Ogryn. They're the shock troopers, not shop troopers, of the Imperial Guard. Ogryns possess many traits prized by the Imperium. They are brutal, strong, and completely loyal, although extremely limited intellectually. Yeah, they're not very smart. Kroot. The Kroot are a species of savage humanoids who are a membered species of the Tau Empire, who evolved from avian creatures. These guys need more models. They are tall aliens, a good half tall meter than most humans. Their avian ancestors giving them bird-like beak and long quills protruding from their heads, and their heads like hair. Smaller quills, possibly the evolutionary remnants of feathers, can be found scattered over their bodies. And then at number 14, we have ratlings. Kind of like halflings, but not really. A ratling is a member of the small, loud, hairy, and lecherous abhuman species. Ratlings are granted full imperial citizenship despite their mutation status, and in the past have often served as in regiment Imperial Guard, such as scouts and things like that. However, they are still distrusted by more Puritan members of the Inquisition. Basically, halflings in space. That's those guys. And there you have it. We have finished all of the Linkers lists. We've done every 40k game. We've done the races. We've done the best Imperial Guard regiment. We've done best hives, best orc clans, best Eldar craft worlds, best Chaos Space Marines, and best Space Marine chapters. That is it. That is all they have. These will probably be upgraded at a later time and date. As you can see, this one was updated January 6th of 2001, which means they do not have the Leagues of Votan in here. That's why they only have the old-timey squats, and the Dark Eldar are not for some reason, are not called Drukari yet, or Drukari. Everybody calls them Drukari because it's funny. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you enjoyed the stream. I know this one was shorter. My voice is giving out from reading all this stuff. I stumbled over way too much, and I just wanted to say again, thank you to all the new viewers and all the subscribers over on my YouTube channel. It means a lot to me that you've decided to give your time and attention to little old me and have been watching my videos. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next one. Till next time,